Good morning to all of you. So, in the last class of Linux, we have discussed, we have started the topic of the file and topic on directories. But starting with, we are having a discussion regarding the file. Now, in this file, we have last topic that we have covered, that is the fstat function, or is fstat system call actually, that returns some status information about the file. And we have seen that there are some members, means some components that is helping this fstat system call to work successfully. For the execution of this fstat system call, there are some fstat members, just like state mode, dev for devices, uid, gid, then a-time. So these are some static members, fstat members that are helping to run that particular fstat system call. Right now, coming to the next part, that when we are discussing regarding a file, so this files in Unix or in Linux system, actually every file have some permissions, and these permissions, they are also be controlled, and it means they are have some system calls for their own, for some special cases. So we can say that this permission flags, there are some permission flags that just like some open system calls that we have seen previously. So there are some there are some permission flags that is have some special types of purpose to work, right? So just means giving an example, some type of special type of permission flag that is almost similar to that open system call that we have discussed previously. Some example, if I am giving about, suppose uh, s if blk. So this if blk, if blk, if I'm trying to talk about this system called permission flag, file type flag, right? So this file type flag is referred to that entry on a block. Entry is a block special device. So there are some special type of devices that have been entry. So entry to a special block devices, entry to a special block devices. So this is a system call by which we can understand that this is an entry to a special block devices, right? Similar to there are other type of flags are present, that is like if dir. So suppose it is s underscore if dir, so that means that entry is a directory. Entry is a directory, right? So if there is if reach, so it is a regular file. If link, that is a symbolic. So this we can understand that what is the file purpose and what is the file type, what is the permission on that particular file. So this type of system calls regarding permission of a particular file can be handled by this system calls, by this particular type of system calls, right? So this file we are talking, it has some record locking process. That file, there are some regular files, there are different type of other files in our system files. So we have several types of kinds of files in our Linux and systems, right? So these files can be record or lock anything within the permission. With the help of the permission, there are some works or the purpose can be done on a particular file. So this purpose means the recording or the locking or whatever the things we want to do, and how to control the particular file, that is the best term. How to control of a particular file, how to control a particular file, how we can do that. So there is a function that is f control, fcntl. We talk about that fcntl, that is f control function. This fcntl or f control function is helping us that how to control a file. So how we can control a particular file, that can be easily understood by XCNTL, that how to control a file. So what is the process in that? That is file locking is only applicable. So I'm talking about the file lock. Just that file locking is applicable only on the regular file, not any other type of system files that are present on that, not on that. It is only applicable to the regular files created by user or for any other execution purpose. So a file locking, this particular thing is applicable for only for a regular file. And this file locking process impose a lock on a file so that the other processes cannot modify the file until it is unlocked by the process. So it is obvious that this Linux have a sharing system, right? So suppose 2 or 3 processes or n number of processes are working at the same time, and out of that maybe 3 process needs to work on a same file, right? So a same file that is equal important to the 3 processes. So 3 processes need to have the data of that particular file. But if 3 processes can get the file at the same time and 3 of the process try to modify it at the same time, then there will be an issue. Then no process can be executed successfully, because one can change or one may modify the data as per their needs, or after having a particular execution maybe the data gets modified. It can happen. So giving the permission of write means write permission. If we provide write permission to 3 processes at the same time, then there will be a problem. Then the execution cannot happen. So what we can do to the file, last edited file, the last version of file is shared among the processes, right? Because giving a read permission to different processes, that is okay, because they can only read the data and they can have the data, they cannot change the data. So giving the read permission to the system, to the particular processes is good, but giving the write permission to all, it is not at all good. So this file locking process, so how to give the right read permission, or to which particular process can we have the right permission? So this process, this file locking process is there so that no process can modify until, suppose one of the process has the access of write privilege of that particular file. So till that time the process does not release the file from its own side, means releasing means does not give the end the scenario with the file, that no more, I don't need this file, I don't need to work on this file no more. Till that time no other process can modify that file. So that modifications authorization is given to that particular process who have it. So till that time, if it is not released, then no other process can actually modify that. So this is a better option, so that all the process cannot modify the file at the same time and the data gets changed. So this file locking process is actually helping us to do that. Now there is 2 type of, as I said, there is a write lock and read lock. There is a write lock and read lock. So this write lock and read lock we are talking about means, write, we can easily understand that it prevents other processes from overlapping or modifying the data till one have the privilege or access to write that, right? So it prevents the other processes from overlapping or reading or writing the logs on the locked region of the file. And read lock, it prevents other processes from setting and overlapping write logs on the locked region file. So read log is for the reading purpose. We have the privilege, we have the access for reading a particular file, so we can read the data, but we cannot do any other process. And write log, it is the process we are stopping to write it. So 2 process, write and read log. So write log here is known as there is another term for write log, is called exclusive log, and read log is known as shared log. Write log is known as exclusive log and read log is known as shared log. I can write write log and read log. Write log is known as exclusive log and read log is known as shared log. So these 2 type of locks are present into the Linux system, exclusive lock and shared lock. And this F control system call is actually helping us to impose that to which we can read, to which we can write lock for an entire file or for a particular segment of a file. Okay, so we can mark a particular segment of a particular file that if this part cannot be modified. So this segment cannot be modified from this entire file. So this process, all the thing of reading, managing the reads and locks of a particular file is managed by this F control function, managed by this F control function. So if there are several processes that is having a particular file that is working on a particular file, so also there are each of these processes have a particular privilege on the particular file, right? So when these privileges get over, so these privileges or this file locks process get over only when the process gets terminated. The process, when the process gets terminated, and process gets terminated when there are several kinds of scenario, either the process has successfully executed, either the process gets terminated by default or by forcefully. So there are several kinds of issue for the termination of the process, but till the time the process gets terminated, the locking on the file goes on. So the blocking of the file gets released only when the processes are terminated, when the processes are terminated, right? Now this file, regarding the file permission, we can change the permission of the file, also the directory, right? So here we are going to talk on some command. We are going to discuss some commands that we have discussed previously in the beginning, right? While we are talking with the command, this command have this purpose, this command have this purpose. So at that time we have talked about this. So again, in this file section, we are going to just rewrite or remember the thing again, right? So this file permission, we can change the permission of the file or the directory using a particular system call or command. So the system call or the command is known as chmod. chmod. So this is a system call or command that is helping to change the permission of a file or directory. That is helping to change the permission of a file or a directory. So this is just a given information that chmod is to change, to give the permission of a file or a directory. So if we are trying to write it through a program, suppose we are trying to write it through a C program or this particular, how we can write it, just giving a basic simple syntax example that how the things is example or how we can write this particular chmod as a option on a particular file, right? So the simple example is that just I'm trying to write a simple example as a C file, as a C programming file. Suppose hash include, that is as it is a system call. So the header file will be sys.systat.h. So the header file will be sys.stat.h. Okay, this is a Linux particular header file. And after that, if you're trying to change the permission or working on the permission of a particular file, then how we can change that? So int chmod bracket the path, the file path and the mode. So the file path on the mode, so suppose character, then the file path, that is path actually character star path, what is the file or where the file is placed, what the file is located, that location, and then we are trying to set some mode. Okay, so suppose that can be like mode. So this is a basic syntax, means just how we can write it, just a basic syntax I have written here. So the system stat.h, this is the header file just for a C programming of a Linux header file actually. And then we can change the, means this chmod is helping us to change the permission of a file. This chmod is helping us to change the permission of the file. Now there is another command, that is chown. CHOWN. So can you anyone remember that what is the role of CHOWN? Anyone tell me, anyone? CHOWN, what is used for? What is the purpose of CHOWN command? Okay, so this CHOWN command is used for changing the owner of the file. So change the owner of the file, it is used this CHOWN command, change the owner of the file. So the owner may be someone previously, but we are trying to change the owner of the file. So in that particular case, the CHOWN command or system call is helping to do this particular task CHOWA to change the owner of the file. Now to do this, to change the owner of the file, not any random user can have the privilege to use this particular command, because as a normal user I can take any other file from any other user, but that is not the thing, that is not the right thing actually. So this chown or this change the owner of the file is only have a super user permission. So this CHOWN can be used by super admin, that can be used by only super admin. Super admin have this CHOWN particular system called operation or system called property. Now these files we have talked on the things, that what are the permission, how the things, how we can open or these things goes on. Same thing here for this directories. In the starting of the topic, that we have two things, that files and directories. So files, we have seen so many things, we have discussed about some of the topics. Now in the part of directories, every file, folders, whatever the things are, it is in a particular directory, and this directory have a function or have a property that called inode. The directory have a property inodes. So these permissions of each of every files and directories are stored in this particular inode. This inode actually contains the length of the file and where on the disk is stored. So this inode, there is a particular property in the part of directory, that there is a term inode that contains the length of the file, that contains the length of the file and where the file is stored. So this is a inode facility or inode property that it is helping in the directory. So this directory that holds the inodes and the names of other files. So the directory, as I said, that every file and folder is in a particular directory, right? Now working on the directory, some of the commands are there to help us, right? And we know this command, we have seen this command, we have also discussed about this command whole many times. So can tell me that what is the role of mkdir? The first thing, the first command in the directory that comes, that is the mkdir. So what is the role of mkdir? Anyone?
Make directory.
Fine. So first thing in the directory that comes into the scenario, that is mkdir, to make a directory. So how we can do that? We have seen in the lab that write the name mkdir and then a directory name just like abc. So a directory will be created, and how we can assure that the thing is done? So we can change using the cd, that is change directory, for the purpose that we can change to that particular directory if the directory is created successfully. So our new directory will be reflected and we can get into that particular directory. So mkdir is to create a new directory. Mkdir is to create a new directory, right? Then there is another command that is helping us in the process of this directory, that is rmdir. So what is the role of this rmdir?
The remove
Remove
directory.
directory.
Remove directory, right? this RMDIR is helping us to remove a particular directory, right? That is good. Then there is another command, CD. What is the role of CD?
Change
So
directory.
changing the directory.
Right, change directory. But in some of the Linux or any other operating system in the version, there is this CD can also be write like this, CHDIR. In some of the systems, some of the versions of Linux or Unix, it is also write through CHDIR, that is to change directory. That is to change directory. Right. So as I said, when we are discussing in the beginning of the classes about the commands, I told you people many times that these commands are very important, because these commands is needed in each and every places while we are working, maybe in a file, maybe in a directory, maybe in a C programming path. So from A to Z in the Linux, whatever you are going to do, a command is the first thing that we need to look out, right? So that's why I have repeated time trying to make this command aware to you people, so that you can have the idea of all the commands, right? Now this is a very easy MKDIR, RMDIR, CHDIR. These things are known, we have discussed about many times or many repeated times for this, and we have seen in also lab. Now there is some few more commands here that is we can talk about. So one command, that is get CWD. Get CWD. So anyone have the idea that is what is get CWD? What is get CWD? Can anyone tell me? This get CWD is actually a system call for getting the information of current working directory, for getting the information of current working directory. So we can easily find out the information for current working directory with the help of this get CWD. With the help of this get CWD, we can easily find out this. So this get CWD power system calls or functions command, what we can say, writes the name of the current directory and tells us that what is the name, right? There are some other parts, that is also to scan a directory, to work or to open a directory, close a directory. There are several things, and all of these commands or the system calls, it is better we can say while working with a directory. This function, this system call or the function are, if we are trying to write it through a C programming, right? Whatever I'm trying to talk about here, we can directly put this through in a terminal. We can run this to the terminal, the command. But if we try to write a C programming, if we try to write a C programming options for this, so this thing can also be write through a C program. So in that case, there should be a header file, right? So whenever we are trying to write a command syntaxes or system calls through a programming, that system calls needs to be defined in some header file, right? So this header file is important part. So if we are trying to write this through a C program, that things also need to be written in a directory, or also need to be written in a header file actually. So in the case of that, in Linux, in C programming, if we are trying to write it, the whole thing about the information about these commands and the system calls regarding the directories are stored in a header file that is called direct.h. That is called direct.h. This direct.h is a header file where all the information about this is stored. So these functions, there are some functions present, that is an open dir, close dir, read dir, tail dir, seek dir. So this type of functions are present in this header file also. So the name Rehan Shakib Khan, kindly mute yourself.
Sir, I want to ask you something.
Yes.
Sir, but current working directory, we can use pwd command, I think.
Yes, you can write pwd command, but what I am trying to say here, that I repeat, that I am trying to talk about the thing that we can write through a C programming, right? In a normal case, through a terminal, you can write this pwd. But when we are trying to write it through a C programming, we are trying to that this is header file. I'm trying to say that explain. That's why I write a header file here. This is a header file. So while we are writing some commands to a terminal, do we need any header file? Do we need any type of header file?
Yes, sir.
While writing a command to terminal, do you need any header file or just write pwd? What is the scenario?
Yes, sir. Header files is important.
Header file is important in which case? Suppose you are in a terminal of a Linux. You want to create a directory, just we have done in the lab, right? So you want to create a directory. So in that particular case, whether you write this mkdir only or you write this hash include stdio.h or hash include direct.h, then you write some commands, programming
Yes,
commands
so
for
we can
execution.
use the header files.
Huh?
We can use the header files first in creating a file.
I am not
C
talking
program.
about file. I am asking you what? Just let me ask you again. Suppose you are in a terminal of Linux.
Yes.
You understand the terminal of a Linux,
Yes, sir.
right? So you are in a terminal of a Linux and you want to create a directory by simply using this mkdir command. By this mkdir command, simple, right? So
Yes,
what you write, whether you write this, just let me, whether you write this mkdir, suppose abc, or whether you write something this.
sir. mkdir.
That is my question that I am asking you, that when you are writing some commands through a terminal, whether you write only the command or the whole, like a C programming thing.
No, sir. We only use the command
So
in
that's
the
why, yes.
terminal.
But now I am trying to explain that what if I write something through a C programming, write something through a programming, not for Go and C program. So the direct.h, I'm saying direct.h for the case of C programming. Suppose, so in that here, so just look at the particular scenario. In this particular part, what is written? That is a particular C programming syntax. If I talk about it is particular C programming syntax for some chmod operation. So we can use the chmod or change the mode of a permission through a command in the terminal also, right? We can do it from the terminal. But what I am trying to explain here, that all the things that have a program, we are writing the command, but the command writing this mkdir only in the terminal. So terminal, how the terminal is going to understand that what is the role of this mkdir command, what is the thing, how this mkdir command will be executed. So am I clear that what I am trying to explain here? We can write this mkdir through terminal, that is fine, but writing mkdir in terminal, how the work will go on, that should be defined somewhere, that what is the role of this mkdir. If I'm trying to write mkdir, means it is trying to make a directory. So how this thing can be explained, how it needs to be defined in some places, and how it can be defined. So I am trying to explain the back end, the back process, or the process that we cannot see of this particular command, because these commands need to be defined somewhere. The role or the process for this particular command needs to be defined somewhere. So that is in some particular this kind of programming language have written for each of this particular command. Otherwise, this command cannot be executed. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Fine. If anyone have any type of more doubts, they can tell me or ask me. Okay, because first the things need to be very clear, that what we have talked previously, that are the commands. And now what I'm trying to explain, that is how the thing is described or defined somewhere, so that that command runs through the terminal successfully. That all the things are written in generally, basically in a C file for this each and every command. So that's why each and every particular command have this particular type of syntax. For chmod, we have this type of syntaxes. For each of these, the commands I have right here, mkdir, rmdir, all the things have a particular C type of command. So suppose I'm trying to write, I'm trying to use this mkdir through a terminal, so I can write the mkdir, fine. But now if I'm trying to use that mkdir through a C programming, so what is the backend, what is the process running behind that mkdir? So what is the syntax? What is the basic syntax that in mkdir, so that we can say that let me write it so that will be understand. Suppose what is the basic syntax? Int mkdir, then brackets, the path of the particular directory that we are trying to create. Suppose constant, then char, the path will be described as dot path. So these are the type by which we can actually write each and every this particular command have a backend process. So when I writing a command, we are trying to run a command to a terminal. The process is executed. That we can see that it is easily executed, but the backend, how the thing is goes on, what is the process, we don't know that. So these are the backend processes, that there are some programming language, programming files is there that is helping to run this particular command, that is helping us to run this particular command. And to do this, there are some functions, the library functions, the system calls, the header files, all the things are working parallelly to run the command successfully, So similar here, that is there are some other type of things, other type of system calls. That's it. I'm every time I'm here using the term system call, right? Not the command only. The term system call is also I'm trying to use system calls when the thing is runs in a program, the calls of system. So in the C programming, if you people remember that we have learned this system calls, system calling from functions, call by functions. So these are the things that is also part of this Linux, because Linux is not only working from a terminal to a particular command. It is not only this much easy, because when we are, what we have seen in the lab, that is I have opened the Linux and I have opened a terminal feature of the Linux. But in general, when we are trying to use it, when you are, suppose you are working for a company that have this that they do their work on this type of command platforms, basically. So what the terminal is totally different. It will be a black window screen only when you are trying to entering into an operating system or trying to work from there. So, or a server, the best example that I can give here, that a server of a network. So server network, it has a server operating system, and that server operating system, what it looks like, just a black window screen having a terminal. That the black window screen is the whole terminal, where you need to write all the operations, where you need to write the commands and all the things. So that is the main part or main work of the Linux. But to do that, to work on that, we need to first learn all the basics, the each and every commands, each and every purposes of the command, because one wrong input, one wrong command input into the terminal, that may lead you to a problem, that may create a problem. One of the things, one of the process may get terminated, by which the system gets affected. So all the things is totally in a simultaneous process. So we need to learn all the things very clearly. We need to very much clear about all the purpose of the commands, or also how the command is working, how the things can be made, or how the system calls can be used. So this is my main purpose, right? Okay, so what I'm talking about, that the functions, there are several type of other functions that is helping us to work on this directory. Just hear the term what I am using. Somewhere I am using command, somewhere I am using the term system call, somewhere I am using the term function, right? So you need to catch up these terms. Functions means it is some particular command type of function, some programming language that is written there. Functions only work in the programming language, not any type of command. So these are the terms that can help you to catch that what the thing I am trying to talk about, right? Okay. So there are some other type of functions that is in this particular header file of this direct.h, that open dir, close dir, read dir, tail dir, seek directory. So these are the functions that is helping us for the process of this directory, for the process, for the creation, for the work on the particular directory. We can use this type of functions through the header file, and also that is known, we can write some C programming syntaxes that help us to do this, that is helping us to do this. Fine. So up to this particular part we are going to talk today, because if we're going to start describing each and everything, that will take much time, because we need to write the syntaxes, we need to show how the I need to show actually that how the thing goes on, what are the syntaxes, what are the header files included here. So that will take some time, but that time is not available today. So that's why I am going to stop here for today, and we are continuing from this particular part in the next classes. One thing that I think Shivam have sent me a particular problem that he's facing in yesterday, right? So Shivam, I have got your file. You have tell me, you have sent me. I can see it, but so give me just a little bit time so I can try it. I will give you a particular solution on this. Okay, but because I need to do it, I need to check it. Then I can tell you. Fine, Shivam.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, because I am busy in some works today, so I will take time and I will surely give you the result for within 2 or 3 days. Okay, so by Monday or Tuesday, you will be your answer. I will explain it all the things. Fine. So if anyone have any type of doubts, they can tell me, they can ask me, so that the things need to be clear. Okay, keeping it in your mind, that will not help to clear the things. So the thing we need to talk, we need to discuss if you have any doubts, and then we can find the solution for that help us to clear the doubts. Fine. And I hope all of you write your names in the chat box, so I don't need to tell, because you are very fast. You people are very fast to write your names in the chat box for attendance, so I don't need to check that. So okay, anyone, anything? If not, then I'm going to end the class here today. We will again meet on Monday with some new topics, with some new discussions. So anyone with anything, or otherwise I'm going to end the class. Okay, fine. So I think there is no more questions from your end. So till that time, we are again going to meet on Monday. Thank you all for joining into the session. Take care and stay safe till that time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.